difficulty since the advent of COVID-19. How are they surviving? Cameroon's economy is going through very difficult times since the advent of the Anglophone crisis. So we are going to be looking at what it takes as a businessman to survive. Businessman does not mean you must be a photo kaji or Mr. Teke. If you are doing buy and sell and you are selling oil or whatsoever, how do you survive during such a moment? We are discussing this with a panelist who are already there. Mr. Teke himself is here after he went out of the country. He was touring the world. We're glad he's back.
Thank you so much, Mr. Liu, and I'm glad to be here again. It's been a while, and the place is looking more beautiful. Thanks so much.
Okay. We also are in the company of Mr. Buji, who is a regular panelist on this platform and Friday editions. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, televiewers. It's Friday again, and we are here to share with you and also exchange so that we can be able to improve on our lives and our economy.
Mr. Neba Paul is also with us this evening. Good evening, Mr. Neba, and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, televiewers. It's another Friday, and we are here, as usual, to bring our ideas and contribute to you so that we can, of course, make those business decisions that will help us to thrive as far as business is concerned. Mr.
Maina Ghana is going to be joining the Tex Global team this evening. He is the CEO of Develop Africa. He's going to be coming in from Kampala, Uganda. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Thank you for having me to your platform today. Good evening to all the panelists. Thank you.
How is Kampala today? Mr. Maina, how is Kampala doing? Seemingly he's not getting me. Mr. Teke? Yes, we are talking about what it takes business survival skills in a difficult and changing economy. Where do we start from? How do we master such periods and be able to come through it? Does it start with first understanding the economy in which we are operating first? Is that not where we should start?
Yeah. So first you need to understand that as a businessman, either as a passive or an active business person, you need to know that difficult times and changing moments are in normal situations that will always occur at all times. So first thing is be prepared for it. Trying to master the economy in which you operate in. You have to understand these things must come. You must face difficult moments. You must have changing situations occurring. Then you try to master the economy in which you operate. That's where it all begins.
That is, if you are engaging in business, you should know that, like marriage, there are good and bad days.
Sure, of course. You must always
have mind towards that.
You must always have that moment. It's not all rosy. As a matter of fact, that's why it's called busyness. It's actually a situation where you have to keep doing things. From day to day, you change your activities, you meet difficult situations. Sometimes it'll be easy, sometimes it'll be normal, but you get to a point where sometimes it looks like they're going to break you down. Like you want to give up. The way sometimes in marriages you look at like, man, what's happening this? I want to give up. But if you already prepare your mind that these things are going to come, then you're ready for them. When they come, you are good to go. You can face them.
Okay. How do we master our economy? How do we master our surrounding? What does it take?
Well, what it takes to master our economy, to master our surrounding, is to be informed. Because the most important thing is you need to gather information and you need to prepare beforehand, as Mr. Teke rightly said. You need to gather the information that, okay, look at the past, look at the business you are doing. Think about the possible changes that may occur. Also be alert to new changes, especially in technology, because in the business world, that's where many things start happening. And today, the world is a global village, which means you easily get information. Just like when the COVID-19 started, it hit China first. A serious businessman in Cameroon or anywhere in Africa would have been already aware that this thing that is happening in China, as it started expanding, it will reach Cameroon. Then you prepare. You now start looking at how are you going to be moving your goods? How are people going to be paying? So when you look at these things, meaning that you are prepared, you act like a prophet. A businessman acts like a prophet, so that when you see what is going to happen before it happens, it's very easy to cope with it because you are prepared. But even at a case where it just takes you by surprise, you must learn to increase your speed. You have to adapt to change, then increase your speed, because change is something that is changed in this current dispensation is very rapid. Change itself has changed. The way it used to come slowly, now change is very, very rapid.
So you have to make the conscious effort, Mr. Neba, to study the market, study trends, and also study our competitors.
Yes, it is very important, Mr. Neo, because you need to first of all understand the domain where you are, the industry where you are. Is it fashion? Is it music? Is it agriculture? Is it food processing? Like you are in the media space. You need to understand who is acting there, and you should be able to predict the future and predict the future steps that your competitors can take. Because if you don't understand that, they will, of course, bypass you, and before you know, you will not be able to catch up. So understanding the players in the industry where you are is very, very important. And of course, when you understand them, it means that you always make sure that you take the lead, because the moment they lead you, the efforts that you took to lead them, you take more efforts to catch up when they are leading you, Mr. Leo.
Mr. Maina Ghana, you are someone who is into business in Africa. Do you have the impression that Africans, Cameroonians in particular, take time off to study the business environment before venturing into it? Are they even prepared for difficult moments? Do they stand to survive?
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Let us first of all to understand that the only thing is constant in life is change. Changes have to be constant in our daily life, either we like it or not. So how do we key in? How can we come to make sure that we can master the change? Because now the changing economy has brought a new system in our daily life that we need to adapt ourselves, otherwise you will be leaving behind. But the good news is that we live one of the best time in our life. We are one of the blessed generation in this world now, because anything we want to do in this world right now, we have easy access to get information and to go about it. And if we want to do business, this our era is the best time and the easiest time to do business. How did I say it? You see, right now, you can stay in the comfort of your bed. You can buy the product and you can sell it without you moving out of your house. That our parents did not have this privilege. Mean that those changes, sometimes it's going to our advantage if really we have the real information. Because at the end of the day, the only thing can make us alive in this world and to succeed in a difficult economy is change. Now, do we know which problem are we solving? Because at the end of the day, in order to survive in any business, means that you know which problem are you solving. And knowing right now, especially the country like Cameroon, we have 1 million problem to solve. So if you know how to go about it and you know which solution are you bringing to those problems, mean that even those that think time are very difficult, you will make out of it. You will succeed, Mr. Leo.
Okay. Mr. Teke, you are an expert in the domain. You run programs at SHEP Academy. You do Tex Global. You are into investment, and is that what you tell people first? You prepare your minds for this.
All right. Okay. So I think let's take it from the scratch.
Okay.
Now this is a whole thing. First is that whatever it is that you want to do, your mental know-how of wherever you are going to is more important than your physical self.
Okay.
Your mind needs to travel to where you are going to before you even take yourself there. So if you are going in for any business, you are going for any venture, you must prepare your mind for that venture before you prepare your body for it. So the mistake most people do, especially in Africa and Cameroon, is that they take their body first and then start trying to prepare their mind for that. And when you do that, it becomes difficult. That is why people have a lot of challenges with starting a business. After 3 months, the business is crashed down and all of that. So
say if I be no.
So most Africans, most Cameroonians learn from experience. Like I wrote one time on my stage, I said, experience is a worst teacher. That if you want to live your life learning from experience, you may end up never being able to succeed, because you always discover you made a mistake and then it's down, then you want to try again, it's down. That is where the place for mentorship comes in, because you learn from someone who has gone through the difficulties that you were supposed to go through. So the first thing is mental preparation. Prepare your mind. Get every information you want to get. I said one time that if you are going into business, and let's say you're 22 years old, if you want to be prepared, averagely, you must have read at least 22 books about business. That is how you prepare yourself. So when you do your mental preparation, then you now go back to your system. What business am I going into? Every industry that we see in the world today, they have gods. They have superpowers that control the businesses, whether we like it or not. There is no business that is purely physical. Every business has a spiritual aspect. There are gods that control the system. So if you're going into, let's say, the agribusiness, there are gods that control the agribusiness. Now, 2 things you have to do. It's either you find them and join them, or you find an operating force that is higher than the force that the gods are operating on. If you do these 2 things, if you join them, they will show you the way. If you are not joining them, be sure that you are getting a stronger force that can actually beat their own force for you to be able to excel in that business. That's why people get into, for example, transport business. We have transport agents like Musango and all of that. Sometimes one transport agent can just come in, and after 6 months, they are nowhere to be found. With all the numerous bosses, what happened? Today they have accident, the money is not coming in, and they will disappear from the surface of the earth. Why? Because every god wants to be a dominion in their domain. So you need to figure out what does it take to reign in that sector. That is where your spiritual, after your mental aspect, your spiritual growth is important to run any business. Whether we like it or not, there is no successful man who is average. It's either you are spiritually godly or you are spiritually satanic. One force must hold you. So anytime I talk to people, I tell them, see, you have to be spiritual. The spiritual aspect in your success, in your growth, is vital if you need to succeed. And you see why poverty is a lot in Cameroon, especially in the average population, is because they don't understand the place of spirituality. You look at the big gods, the big dons in this country, they'll tell you they belong to somewhere. Nobody is an island and succeed. So figure out, my spiritual life, is it growing? If it's growing, now your spirituality will help you build a thick skin. You already know that you're going to meet these challenges, because the gods you are going to meet, they will tell you this is what you're going to face. Now they will help you to build a thick skin to those challenges. So before they come, you already know that these things are going to come, so you face them. The Bible says that even though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, so God did not say that shadow of death will not come. He said you walk through them. He said, but surely you will be delivered. So a man who has studied, who have actually make a lot of research about the venture they are going into, understand that such things can come. If they come, what's the way out? The mentors or the gods they meet in that industry must have shown them the way out, and so they can sneak their way. But if you're not mentally prepared, you're not spiritually prepared, then you are not physically prepared, it becomes difficult for you to scale through in changing times and in difficult moments in business.
Okay. Now, once things get difficult, Mr. Buji, what's the first thing to do? Is it to take stock of what you have so that you know how to face the moments of austerity now? Yes.
Mr. Leo.
Yes. We are addressing people who are operating businesses in Cameroon. We are faced with the COVID challenge. We are faced with the Anglophone crisis challenge. What was the first reaction that a businessman who had gone through Shep Academy, what was that first reaction that they were supposed to take?
Okay. As in any situation that a human being might face, for a businessman, when you are faced with a problem, if you have actually studied business, the type of lessons that are taught at Shape Academy, you will understand that once confronted with a challenge in your market, what you have to do is you have to pause, find out why are you facing this challenge. Where is the problem coming from? Because, Mr. Liu, for you to solve a problem, you must first of all identify it. If you don't identify the problem, you cannot solve it. Now, let's say, for instance, I want to use practical examples. COVID-19 came. You are no longer seeing your customers. You're no longer seeing your customers. Now, but the customers, you know that there were things that you were supplying that they cannot do without them. You have a database, definitely. You have areas that before you get in, maybe you put in some of your information there. Now you need to start deriving ways. Now, since we can no longer meet physically as we used to meet, how can I solve this problem to bridge the gap between I and my customers? What you do is you definitely have to create a solution, because you now know the problem. It's difficult to communicate. For instance, what Tex Global did when we started facing this challenge of having to communicate with our clients, I think this is between this time that we developed the live chat, where once you go to our website, because we did not gather all the details of our clients at that time. If you get to our to our website, the live chat is automatically welcoming you and indicating if you have a problem, we are here to solve. That was easy for us to assess our clients. When immediately you open, it sends you a message. You are welcome. We are here to assist you. Send us your name and your phone number. From there, it's easier to connect with somebody on WhatsApp or a direct call immediately and solve that problem. But if we did not see that this is a problem we are facing, we have to communicate with our clients. Then how will you solve a problem that you don't even know? So that is the first major thing to do. Then secondly, you have to look at the needs, look at the technological changes. Look at what the technology that will fit to solve your problem. Because to every change, there is a proportionate increase in the level of technology to handle that problem. But when you want to go use just the traditional way of solving your problem, it's not easy. Like you see, we have TechStadia, for instance, a technological company. It brings technological innovations, which means any problem that we face, we get back to TechStadia to see how do we handle this.
I want us to go practically. That COVID came, no, Anglophone crisis is there, COVID is there, whether we like it or not, the markets are affected. Now, a core business person, should he not take stock of his available cash resources and then do a market projection for the next one, market projection revenue and everything for the next 1 year, and look at the possibility to withstand and where you should make amends and how to go about it?
Well, Mr. Leo, at any point in time, be it during a crisis or without a crisis, there's always need projection. Yes, because that's your strength, your projection for available cash, the available goods that you have maybe in your warehouse to see how you can sustain, of course, because during that time you will still need to be doing purchases. Maybe you have your staffing, maybe you need to drop your number of staff because sales are not coming in like before. Maybe you had 10 staffs and now because the sales have dropped, you cannot still maintain that, because mind you, what drains the business most is fixed costs. That the cost that you know that you're paying on a monthly basis, which usually is your house rent, maybe the staff, maybe taxes and stuff like that. So you need to take stock of the available cash, your available stock, your available personnel, to see if you are going to either negotiate with them and drop their salary or you lay off some people. Because at any point in time, the main issue here is that the business should be able to thrive through that crisis. Of course, so the aspect of stock taking cannot be ignored. When it is taken now, you can now see where you should make decisions, where you should focus, and of course go through that process. Usually you understand that process is not there to kill the business. Usually businesses boom after crisis, and it's the strategic decisions that you take during the crisis that will determine whether that business is going to boom afterward or not. Because business is not a smooth lane. When you're making top sales, be quite aware that that's the most risky place that you can go down. And the moment you're going down, know that there is a possibility that you're going to rise again. Business is not always a smooth lane like you are on the road of Moliko and My 17, and you know that you're shooting directly up to Moliko. No, there's always
Miss Road.
Okay,
not Miss Elele, yes. there are always booms, there are slumps, and every point in time, like a business person, you have to be very conscious. In business, there's no comfortable point. There's no point where you're like, oh, business is doing so well now, let me take vacation and go and enjoy, because if you're talking, if they're saying Mr. Teke is going on vacation, it means that he must have put in place systems that are running the business before he goes on vacation.
Okay. Mr. Ghana, why have we failed in instances like this? We are living COVID-19, we are living the Anglophone crisis. There are many businesses that cannot function. Is it their failure to foresee the possibility of living what they are living today?
No, Mr. Leo, first of all, you need to understand business is like a cycle. There will be a time that the business will go down, either you like it or not. This is the cycle. The system we build the economy in this world. However, either we like it or not, the economy will collapse. You remember in 2008, we went one of the deepest recession. The biggest company in the world went completely down. Those companies was 50 years old, 100 years old, but they went completely out of business. American government have to bail them out. So at the end of the day, having those kind of problems, not because we didn't foresee, but this is predictable. So sometime I can assure you that every 10 years, Mr. Leo, every 10 years, you will see there will be an economic problem. Because the system of our economy right now we do in this world, it cannot sustain us more than 10 years because things have to crash. It's not once. Since 1930, 70, 40 something, we was having Great Depression in this world. We was having the problem in 2000. We went to 2008. Now 2020, COVID-19. I assure you, Mr. Leo, on 2030 also there will be another problem. The economy will sit crumbling this way. But now, at the end of the day, is those problems are making us more stronger than before? Yes. Is those problems are giving us more strategy to plan ourselves to make the business better? Yes. Because business itself is ideas. There will be a time that those ideas become obsolete. You need to think twice again to bring something new on the table. So it's not something new that if today we are going in the recession, things are very tough in any country in this world. We will come out of it. At the end of the day, there is nothing we need to go and take outside this planet. We are not going to import anything from planet Mars to bring it in this world. To fix this economy, we have it here. Anything we need now to make our economy better, we have it in this world. So at the end of the day, sometimes we can mismanage our life, but we have to come back to redraw the lines and make sure that we can build a new economical system, Mr. Leo.
Okay, Mr. Teke, I read somewhere that we are in the face of this. The first, one of the things to do is to roll out austerity measures without delay. You get into it in terms of crisis, you cut costs. That is a necessity, not a choice. And then the faster you move to cut excess fat, the better for your future in the business. Clip expenditures that are not core to the survival of your business.
Let me say this. It's difficult in Africa because if a business originates from Africa, this is a tendency. Everyone around you is not expecting to see how far you want to go. They're expecting to see when you want to fall. Okay, that's where the problem begins. So when you face challenging times like this, you don't have supporters. You have people who are looking for means to nail you more and bring you down. Now, in the
waiting for that day to celebrate.
Yes, that will finally announce. Even your government, people in administration will be waiting for when they will actually send police come and arrest you that your business has fallen and then people's money have gone. Then they want to see you people complain so they can actually nail you. Lawyers are waiting to come and start doing case on your head so they can eat their own part of the money. But in the Western world, it doesn't work like that most times. You have collaborators. So first thing we need to do is the African man, the Cameroonian mind needs to understand the place for collaboration. In changing times, in difficult moments, what will keep a business thriving is collaboration. How many persons are in support of this venture that we are running? So that if the businessman comes and say, partners, shareholders, investors, we have this challenge. who can come and say, okay, I have this amount of money in the bank, I'm bringing it, okay, what do we do? Let's support the business and see how we can kick it start again. But if you get that thing happening in Cameroon, the next thing is all the medias carry it, and then you hear stories start coming here and there. And a man who does not have encouragement, external support from his people, finds it difficult to survive. Very difficult. So we are supposed to first of all learn collaboration. If a business originates from Cameroon, from Africa, we need to know that it is our responsibility to make it work. Whether we hate the person or we love the person, as long as it is blessing the life of our country, is paying tax to the nation, and is employing people, it's our responsibility to make it work. That's number one. Number two, I don't really cutting cost is okay. That's what we learn in school. It's economics. That's school knowledge. Before a business start going down, it doesn't go down overnight. There are signals that comes from time to time. When these signals come, it's about, okay, the income is coming, that used to come is reducing, customer base is reducing, and all that, people are withdrawing and all of that. Then you should be able to sit down and figure out something is not right. We used to generate 20 million every month. Now it has reduced to 10 million. Then something is wrong. So this degradation start going gradually, and because the average African businessman is always excited with success, the moment they start making it big, they don't have time to sit down and start thinking of how to make it bigger. So they celebrate the earlier success. So when things start going wrong, they don't know when to sit down and figure out. So this is what business people, this is what we do most times. Real business people have thinkers who may not be directly employed in their organization, but these guys are just there. They have all the private information about the company. They know when something is wrong and know when to think and save the company from crisis. 2008, when they have they have the biggest crisis and all of that, people were making money. That was the period when Michael Jackson organized an event in the UK, and then they said we're going to sell about 1 million tickets. In the midst of this serious economic crisis, there was no money. Michael Jackson made over $7 million. I read this article somewhere. They were selling one ticket for about £7, and over 1 million persons bought the ticket before the date. Unfortunately, he died before the event. So he made a lot of money. So crisis is not actually an event that people should be losing money. People who think very well. It should be for mediocre business people. But if you want to make it big, crisis should be a moment where you take advantage. Crisis is a Chinese word meaning bad and good. So in every crisis, cry and then see is actually something good, opportunity. So in every crisis, there's always an opportunity that comes. So what does the businessman do in the midst of crisis? Does he sit down to think and figure out what do I bring out of this crisis? Or he sit down to think, what am I going to do? The government is bad, the government is this, or the country is this, the poor are bad. During the Anglophone crisis, a lot of poor, 2017, 2018, 2019, they were relocating, leaving Buya to Douala, to Yaoundé, and all of that. My question is, you are living Buya, don't you think about the population in Buya? If you were selling food, you're now relocating from Buya to Douala, who feeds the population in Buya? So everybody got scared. Instead of thinking of how to adapt to that situation and change models, they were now relocating to Douala. And now when things are gradually getting better, they're now figuring out a way of going back to Buya. All those changes instead can destroy your business more than even the crisis itself. So outside collaboration, the next thing we have to do is we need to generate thinking tanks. People who can spend a lot of time thinking of how to survive a situation. Yeah. When problems happen, people are running for solutions. But real business people,
but this think tank, you're talking about creating think tanks and persons who assist in one way or the other. Yeah. They are rare to find in Africa.
They are rare to someone that are not able to find them.
Okay,
that's true. We have.
You are training them already.
Yes, that's where. That's why we call Shape Academy incubator place, where you train people. The average Cameroonian is very intelligent, Mr. Liu, very intelligent. The only problem is they don't know how to practicalize what they have learned in school. The average, we run text breeds now, where people submit projects, business projects and all that. If I give you those projects to read, you'll be amazed at the things that a farmer a Cameroonian who is in the village will present to you as a business plan. Amazing ideas, amazing opportunities. My question is, so what have you been doing with all of these things in your head? So these guys have it in their head. So if they function more in just thinking, employ them, keep them in one room to be thinking. They should think, create the idea, give you, you go and execute it. That's where collaboration comes in. Some set of people are thinking, you are the executor. Like I told them one day, I said, see, just leave me. You guys should just position. Give me 1 week. I'll just sit and create ideas. All I need are people who are ready to move. I'll tell you, see, I want to do this, 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 this. If you are fast enough, that is a money generating idea. And that's what we have to figure out. Business people should figure out, who do I need in my circle to enable me grow in my business? I cannot do everything. I cannot do marketing job. I cannot do administrative job. I'm just a crazy businessman. That's my person. I just sit and then think of an idea, think of a business. I need to pick this business and call someone who understands administration. I said, this is what I want us to do. Take it. The administrator takes it, knows who and who to employ to run that vision. Like the textbook idea I brought, I'm not running it. I don't know how many persons that have been signed for their project to be sponsored. We have a team that is running that. Why? I hand over to someone who is pushful enough to know who to employ, and the vision is running. So we need collaboration, very important, if we have to build a strong economy, no matter how difficult the situation is, no matter how terrible the situation is.
Yeah, but should we not also be ready to take tough decisions at times when things are not going, and put away sentiments at times to lay off some workers and cut down some unnecessary costs?
So can I say something?
Yes.
A business can survive without profit. The only time a business fails is when income doesn't come in. These workers we want to lay off, do they have capacity to at least generate income into the organization? They may not be making profit, but if they have income running that can run the organization, all we need to do is to train people to be more productive. The average Cameroonian industry doesn't train people. We just employ them because they've gone to school and they bring all of their CVs. So we employ them based on the qualification.
Yeah, but what if you bring them and, like you say, we just train them and they are unproductive, but they are there and they cannot generate? They are not gone through Shep Academy. What do?
Okay.
You hired Shep Academy to come and train them.
It's not about those who have not gone through Shep Academy or not. This is the issue. What Mr. Teke was trying to expatiate on is this: are these people capable of pulling along with that change? If they cannot, then you need to put away sentiments and lay them off. Of course, when EcoBank was going digital, many workers were laid off. Why were they laid off? It's because what was coming was for the advantage of the business. It was more effective and efficient. Now, when you look at this, you also realize that anybody, wherever you are, you need to learn to update. You need to learn how you can constantly become valuable in such a way that you cannot be put out of your business sphere. Because if you do not take it as one of your responsibility to grow, I have a book, Disrupt Yourself or Be Disrupted by Nicky Vet. What does it, just from the title, either you adapt to change or change is going to crush you. Change, as you said, is not emotional, it's not sentimental. When change comes, it crushes you. If you were a journalist that used to go and report maybe in a market, that you actually mount a podium and report and people get you, and with this technology that is coming up, and you don't think about a way that you can sit here and we broadcast in nearly every continent. I'm sure my Media Prime, I've gotten people from every continent say I'm watching my Media Prime from this place. So if you don't actually scale up to that level, there is no way you are going to stay in business, because your competitors are going to definitely do what you have not done and you will be kicked out of business. So as a businessman, in challenging moments, you need to take tough decisions. If they are going to push the vision, your business, because the most important thing is that for the business to survive. If the business doesn't survive, no matter whatever decision you were taking to protect people or maybe your own emotions, definitely you have failed.
You don't want to be called the bad employer, the bad patron.
No, of course, not about being bad, because the worst case is the situation where you maybe want to protect maybe one particular person or your own interest, and then you end up losing the whole business. I think the consequences are much.
You go for people who are efficient.
No, efficient people. You must, as a worker, if you don't skill up, there are sets of skills that would keep you going when challenges set in. That's why you need to equip yourself, and you also need to understand that these skills also get obsolete or they get outdated as time goes on. For instance, a worker who was a secretary, who the ones usually call typists, where you use the typewriter, if you don't upgrade your skills to be able to use a computer, definitely one day you will just see your boss coming in with a computer and maybe a smart photocopy machine into your office, and nobody will even need to tell you to upgrade. You will just pack your things and go, because you cannot manage that.
Yes, but in this scenario where I know many companies actually have laid off workers during this period of time.
Mr. Leo, when it comes to laying off workers, companies, in fact, you have like Apple Incorporated, they laid off thousands of workers as technology is increasing. That's one thing that we must be aware of. Technology or robots, once they're taking over your job, once they're taking over your business, you will never have it again. So you need to either you embrace them and use them to manage them, or you are kicked away by them.
Okay, we are talking about business survival, where we see improvement or evolution in technology is gradually taking over the jobs and opportunities of others. To survive, isn't it also very imperative for business owners and workers to upgrade? That is, in the process, you undergo training, because instead of laying them off, if they are valuable, like if they can produce, you could hire the services of chef. You train the persons now in-house.
Yes, the people can either go to Chef Academy, or Chef Academy these places and come and train them, or train them at the job site. You know, upgrading is on two sides. If you are not upgrading like an individual, the job owner can drop you. And if you are running an institution and you are not upgrading your workers, you don't take it like a determined or the action to take. There are some workers who are determined to grow, and when they don't find themselves growing in that environment, they are going to drop you. It's not only on the side maybe workers want to stay. There are people who are they're very hungry for growth, and when the environment doesn't permit them to grow, they will drop. The time has gone past where people were so dumb that they'll stick to one job and they don't think out of the box. There are a lot of resources. We're talking about the internet and information now. There are a lot of resources that people have access to that can make them to be able to upgrade and get more knowledge and see themselves feeding elsewhere or feeding in another company and earning a better salary. And if they are seated there and you are not making an effort to let them grow, and if at all they acquire some knowledge and they are trying to contribute into a structure, like we usually see in most companies in Africa and Cameroon, when somebody is bringing an idea that is productive, a boss up there who is not smart enough will think that, oh, maybe this guy is trying to challenge me, and then now maybe if he challenges me and this idea works out, maybe they're going to kick me. And then upgrade this guy. So let me not take this idea. Such a person in your structure, if he is not contributing and he knows that his idea can contribute elsewhere better and they reward him, he is going to quit. So it is in two ways. A boss needs to make sure that you are upgrading your workers. Workers need to take the responsibility to do research on their own, because in most cases the company is taking care for you. It is your responsibility to do research, upskill your knowledge, contribute more to the company, because when the company is growing, there's the probability that your salary is going to increase as well. Yeah, so it's a two-way thing. There's no time when the boss should say, no, my workers are already good to go. There's no time when the worker should say, okay, I'm very smart, so I should now be comfortable. Each time I leave the job, I should go to a beer parlor and be drinking my beer because I am very comfortable. No, times are changing. There's no way you can ignore technology nowadays. That's why I'm very sick when you see students having O-level, advanced level, even degree, and they lack basic computer knowledge in the 21st century. That's a modern day illiterate. It's bad to say.
Mr.
Ghana, is that not where the problem actually lies, where you find somebody who is doing the same thing for the past 20 years and would never bother to upgrade and get themselves prepared for any eventuality?
Mr. Leo, I can say that this thing starts by the vision of the company. You know, when you set up a company and you clearly define the vision of your company and you put it on the table, all your employees who are your partners, if they have the same vision with you, you will see that upgrading becomes something easy. But the difficulties we are having in Africa, we are working between boss and worker. So mean the boss is only giving you instruction without telling you what is the vision, the goal, and the dream for the company. Where did he want his company to be for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years, for the next 30 years? Because if you treat your employees as your partners and they feel that they are the member of this company, they feel that they are like they are your family members, upgrading is very easy because you always put them in a comfort zone that at any time you want them to learn something new, they are ready to go for it because they feel that this is their baby, this is their family, so anyhow they have to make it better. But the situation is sometimes we, the owners of the company, the CEO, we are not communicating properly our dream, our goals, and our vision where we want our company to go. I'm giving you an example. In 2008, American Airlines was facing the tough situation. But what they did, because they bring everybody together to the vision of the company, imagine all the employees have agreed to drop 50% of their salary to make sure that they can leave the company on a difficult situation, and at the end of the day, they will have some shares. Nobody has been laid down, but the majority of the company went completely bankrupt. Now, me, like in my company, the first mistake I make on the past with other companies, I find out that the lack of communication of my vision to my partners, my employees, because me, my employees, I'm not calling them employees, I'm calling them my partners. When you come to the rule in my company, you know that my employee first, investors come second, and the client come last. The client are last in my company. Why? Because if your employee has been treated very well, they will do all their best to make sure that this company grow. And when you face a tough time, they will stick with you. Everybody will bring ideas that to make sure that this company resists the difficulty until we cross the storm. But sometimes we, even the owners of the company, we are not doing it. We just show people we want benefit, we want to generate revenue. We are pushing people to the wall. And if the person cannot perform, you kick him out. So when your employees feel that they are not safe in your company, Mr. Leo, believe me, when the company is going to little storm, you will be alone. They will drop you, 100%. But if they believe that this is their dream, this is their baby, they are ready to die for you. At the end of the day, some people are not working in the company because of salary. Some people are working in your company because they feel that you treat them so well that they are member of this family, that they are ready to give their best to make sure that the company grow, Mr. Leo.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that not very capital? That is, you want to survive in difficult moments, you must make sure that when things are so low on you, those who are working with you should be ready to stand for you and even make sacrifices.
Yes, and that's the I was talking to a company, one of the companies in Boya. So I was training the staff. I was talking with them, and I didn't even know their boss was there. So I started talking. I said, the growth of every business is both in the hands of the employee and the employer. The relationship they share can determine how much sacrifices the employee can make in the organization in difficult moments. But unfortunately, we are in a country where you could easily see the difference between the employer and the employee in an organization, both in their standard of living in the way they talk, in the way they walk, and everything. But there are organizations where it becomes difficult to even know who is the boss. As a matter of fact, few persons actually know me in Tex Global. If you go to Boya today, they know the general manager as the head of Tex Global because she's the one that is being projected everywhere. Now, it's supposed to be like that because see this boss thing, it's not something we fight for. Position thing is something we fight for. I always say this, leadership is not in position, it's in responsibility. So how much responsibility are you ready to carry? It's not just by the work you do, but with the people you are able to carry along. If you employ people, first, how much degree of love do you have for them? To want to take them to a level where you want them to be. Because by the time, if I employ Mr. Buji, there's something in my head. There's an expectation I have of him. If he's not meeting to that expectation, there are two things I can do. First thing I will do is talk him into meeting up to the expectation. Firing or lay him off only come as the last option. That is if he is not ready to meet up to what I am telling him. That's when sending them out comes in. So organizations should be able, company owners, business owners should be able to build a training department in their organizations where they take time, probably every morning or every month or every week, to train their staff concerning their vision, just like Mr. Zimana said. Take time to cast the vision to the people. The people should know where they are going to. If you are running an organization, where do you want to be in the next 10 years? This thing should be in this guy's head. There are companies where you go to, the staff in that company don't know the vision of that company. They cannot recite it, as simple as it might be. What's the vision of My Media Prime? Do they have a vision? What's the vision? What's their mission? Where are we going to in the next 10 years? Some people just come in there for money. So I'm just going to get my salary, and the day you don't pay them salary, 5 days or 1 week after the month is over, you see everybody start twisting their face. They can't work very well. If you have that kind of staff or that kind of company where staff behave like that, you have to know something is wrong. There's a lot of work you have to do. It means you don't have people who can die or sacrifice for you. 1 day after the month end, everybody starts twisting their face. Either they come to work late, or they call they don't have transport, or they start making too many complaints. If you run an organization where as soon as month is coming to an end, everybody starts sending text to the manager and start making comments when a salary coming, Mr. Liu, something is wrong. We need to develop people, staff, employee who see the company as their own. Because if you are the owner of My Media Prime, you are the boss of this organization, if there's no salary, you will not complain to anybody. Every employee should be able to see themselves like that. But where does it begin? It begins on how you build a relationship with them. What impact, that's the word, what impact do you have in their lives? So much that people follow you as a head of that organization, not because they have to, but because they want to. Without anything, can they still run with you? So company owners, we need to learn how to build this collaborative spirit between you first and your employee. Secondly, you and your partners or your investors or your shareholders. That relationship must be there. Everybody needs to have their own share of sacrifice they are making. So in changing times, we can still come back and put our heads together and say, this is our baby, we have to make it grow.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. I think with the difficult and challenging economy, businessmen should be able to move from their fixed schedules to flexible schedules like we see today. There are businesses that were able to take advantage of the pandemic, and the crisis. What I'm saying is that businesses should be able to adapt to changing times. Good evening to you. Nanji Adolf says, good evening from Kumba. I love the program and I love you all. Thank you very much. But we are talking about loving your employees. Is it also time to take special care for your customers?
Yes, of course. We always say, I've had this, you see businesses, especially in the old days, you always get, we walk into some business places, you say, if the customer is king, then the service provider is not a slave. So when you look at it, you realize that the relationship between what makes your business grow is very, very important. For instance, you have your investors. As a business that grow up investors, the investors are part of the business. So if they are not happy, your business cannot move forward. Your clients, that is those who actually enjoy from the process from the business, like the products and the rest, it means that there have to be a way of a relationship between both parties. If there is no relationship, it will be difficult to survive in crisis moment. And for this relationship to be built, there is one thing that must take place: proper communication. So communication doesn't only have to go you and your employees, but if you communicate with your employees, they're definitely those are the people who actually meet your clients on the field. They now pass this message to them. Now we say this is where, that's why you see the vision of a company must not be the thing that should be known by only the employees. If you're investing in a business, you have to know what's the vision, where are they going, what is their mission, and what is the vision. Because if you know these things, you now have people who are able to protect this business. I will tell you that there are many people that if you talk bad about Tex Global today, they will give you punches, because they understand where we are heading to. They know where we will be in 5 years time, where we'll be in 30 years time, and we are projecting where we'll be by 2050. But many people have a short term, many people don't understand. If you look at us from outside, you might not know this, but when you come, when you attend our seminar, this is what we are projecting. By this time, these are the number of millionaires and billionaires we want to raise in this country. So now when you are joining us, you know where you are going to be, where you are heading to. It will be difficult for you to be in doubt, even when there are challenging moments. Of course, when this crisis and the COVID-19, like I look at it as a twin crisis that happened. But within this time, you still have us. We are able to grow. We are expanding at a very difficult moment. How did we do this? It's because though Cameroonians, at first, they are like many other businesses have failed them. But we are trying to talk to them. We have been communicating, and now they now know what is it that makes Tex Global different from other companies that have disappointed them. It's because of the vision. It's because of what we have, what we project as would be the benefit of Cameroonians and our investors. And all of them are definitely happy that they made the decision to be moving along with us. So Mr. Leo, when it comes to dealing with your clients and your customers, it's very important to understand how they feel. Your decisions will be finally made based on their expectations, because if you don't meet the expectations of your customers, definitely it's just like producing a product and nobody is buying.
Yes, the customers like Mr. Ghana said earlier on, when things are going tough and you have 5 of you in the market, the company that treats them like real customers, they'll stick with them. Yes. That is, you need these customers in difficult times. For example, I remember in Boya, sometime there were 2 agencies operating in Boya, travel agencies. One had very bad cars, but because of the way they treated their customers, people, just because they wanted that company to survive, they stayed with that company till the company was able to go through the difficult periods, and then bought better cars to. Yes,
Mr. Leo. Let me comment on that.
Clearly, I saw it in Boya.
There's something known as customer loyalty. Yeah. You should be able to build customer loyalty in good times, so that when hard times come, these customers can stick with you. Yes, because if you can't treat your customers well, there's what this front office staff, what they call receptionists, so people who face your customers, who deal with your customers on a daily basis. If your customers don't have that good feeling about your business, they will not even blink when maybe a crisis strike, or maybe you make a slight increase in prices.
They will rather celebrate.
They'll celebrate, and they'll run away.
What are we talking about? Just raise the issue of the money transfer company that existed. Just the mere mention of that name, they say, people there.
Yes. Because customer service is very important nowadays. Why? Because people have become so knowledgeable and they are so emotional. They care so much how they are treated. They care so much how they feel. What you call customer experience. You know, sometimes they tend to care about their feeling more than the satisfaction they get from the product that you're giving them. The moment they are having that feeling, that belonging, that they feel that, okay, yes, when I get here, they treat me well, they call me by name, they ask me to sit down, even when they are not giving the service in time, they come and tell me that, oh, please wait, we're having these issues, you can wait for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That particular aspect makes customers to feel more belonging than when they come and you serve them. Yes, when times come tough now, okay, when things were good, these guys were treating me well. When things were good, these guys were giving me tips. Maybe they were giving me, selling to me sometimes on creative, of course. So maybe now I shouldn't drop them because times are hard and I'll stay with them. But mind you, as far as Cameroon is concerned now, customer loyalty is something that is pretty difficult. I must say that Cameroonians will go to the counter to buy something, and if it's not available, they'll just substitute right away. I want to buy this particular soap, it's not available. What is available? And what is available, they just take it. So it's a long way that we still have to go to be able to build customer loyalty. So if your customer service is not the best, if your customer service employees don't know how to communicate, to speak, to know when to listen, because sometimes clients are very naughty, I must say that. They want to be heard, they want to speak, they feel very dissatisfied. At that moment, if your customer service is not good at listening, sometimes they may be very, very wrong. But the best thing you do at that time is to listen. It's not as if you are approving what they are saying, but you leave them to air out their anger, to air out their emotions. Of course, at the end of the day, they will still come back to the reality. If you want to take, for example, with these communication companies, when you have a problem with the communication company, you go there, you take a ticket, no matter how disgruntled you are, you will sit and wait. And then the time comes that they will receive you and say, okay, this is the problem, this is the problem, this is how we're going to solve it.
But we are talking about preparing for greater difficult times.
Yes.
You sit there because you have no alternative. What if in the next 5 years you have 6 other alternatives? Would you still?
It will depend on how these people treated you when there was no alternative.
Yeah.
But if they are treating you bad, mind you, even I'm the one, we all like to feel better. We all like to have a good experience.
So as businesses, I think this is what we should know. There are 3 experiences that every customer wants to get. We have the customer experience, we have the on-desk customer experience, and the post-customer experience. Before the customer gets into your business place, there's an experience the customer wants to get. How do you welcome them? The way you welcome them can determine if they are going to stay and do more business with you. Now, the moment you are doing that business with them, you're packaging their product, you're talking with them, what is the experience you are going to give them? Now, when they leave your business premise, what's the experience they are going to get after leaving your business premise? So this is how most business people run their business. The moment you convince the customer to come and buy your product, case closed, all of them act like hunters. Everybody's there with a gun. As soon as they see the animal, boom, they shoot, they take home, that's all. So the real thing to do is we have to learn to act as farmers. If you see the way a farmer behaves, the farmer goes to the farm, clears the grass, plant the crops, weed the grass, grow the crops until the crops get to a level where it's ready for harvest. That's why it's difficult for a crop to actually see the farmer and runs away. But if an animal sees the hunter, the animal runs away. So we need to understand this nurturing. Every business person must learn the skill of nurturing, nurture our client. That's one of the things that will help them build customer service loyalty.
So the thing is, this Mr. Teke, people, when most Cameroonians, when they acquire customers, they don't care about the customers anymore. They go hunting for more customers. Meanwhile, if they could treat those that they have already, they will retain them well and they will give them more money in the future.
Okay, Mr. Liu, good day to you and family. Thanks for being there. Best wishes. Let the universe open more to you, Reverend Teke and co. Humanity needs to take itself too seriously in all they have to do so as to be united in understanding to enjoy it. Thanks. Ngala Divine is writing from Boya. Ngala Divine. Mr. Teke, are you a reverend?
For the first time. It's a new title. I receive it.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. Concerning the upgrading of workers in company also depends on the physical outputs of employees. That's why you find same for 10 years in the same position. Andrew is writing from from Kumbo. Good evening to you. Greetings, Mr. Leo. Mr. Leo and panelists, it's Dinka watching from Bamenda. Love your program. All we name business comes to existence as a result of an individual initiative. Is it so sad that in our country we buy what we see, we wear as all we see, and call businesses? Your message is not clear. Today, as a result of an initiative, and until we come to buy ideas as Cameroonians. For every wealth creation and a strong economy is when we learn to buy ideas and not money, because even the existence of money came from a personal initiative. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to all the entrepreneurs in the studio. Mr. Liu, the truth is that most employers are very greedy to their personnel. All they care about is to make more profit or at the exploitation of employees, eating fat while the employees eat like an ant. Hope Tex Global is different. Daddy's Clay is writing from Boya. No, you see Mr. Buji now? Does he look like he's suffering? You see this man here, does he look like he's suffering? You see Miss Air. You see, he's parking a big car. Mr. Buji is parking a big car out there, so they are not suffering. So, good evening. I'm called Evaristus from Bamenda. I just want to thank the good work you people are doing. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Happy birthday to you. Yes, it's not today. The birthday is on Sunday. My birthday is on Sunday. Yes. The birthday is on Sunday. So if you are watching me and you want to join me in celebrating my birthday, call me. I'll invite you. Maybe we'll keep chicken and shake. Mr. Ghana, are you there? Now, we have this problem of also not only taking care of our employees, but ensuring, like Mr. Teke said, that the employers the customers are very satisfied with us, so that they become even part of our business, so that in very difficult times they can stand with the company and make sure that it survives.
Well, Mr. Leo, there is one thing we need to understand first. You see, as a business, as a company, we are selling a product or we are selling a services. And the services we are selling is not even important to a customer than the emotion attached behind this service or the product. When you see that you have a loyal customers, make sure that the emotion they get from your company is so interesting for it, so important that they will die for it, they will come back. Now, what do we do as the owners of the company to make sure that our partners, the employee, can sell this emotion in a professional way that we will have the loyal customers? This is where the problem lies. At the end of the day, I'm giving you one example. If you see a company like Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola is existing more than 50 years, but it's #1 drink in the world. Why? You cannot tell me Coca-Cola is more nicer, more sweeter than Gino Cocktail de Fruit or Pamplemousse. But why all of us dying behind Coca-Cola? Because they have one thing. All of us here in this world, we can remember a best moment we spent drinking this Coca-Cola. So this emotion attaches behind Coca-Cola that anytime we believe that it's a drink that everybody have to drink, right? Now, Africans who start building new companies, new tech companies, we need to make sure that we sell emotion that our customers can be satisfied with us. You can go and investigate. Like my company, Develop Africa, we are training some bigger companies, and they've come to an understanding that the majority of their loyal clients are not necessarily buying their product because the product is the best, but because the emotion and the services, the respect, the way the customer is treated, attach them to your product. Sometimes doesn't necessarily this product, they need it. I'm giving you an example. Imagine when you have an Apple phone or Apple computer, the fact that this Apple is giving you the sense that you are a big person, like you have money, this emotion will make you buy Apple. You are not buying it because you want to use it. So we Africa now, we need to build a system of emotion that our client can be happy, can be satisfied. And anytime if there is an idea going regarding to that your product, you are the first person to come their mind because they need to think about you. So sometimes we have to come back to sit down to make sure that this vision will be translated from our workers to the investors and go back to the client, Mr. Leo.
Okay, Mr. Teke, we are also talking about how to survive in a difficult and changing economy. Is this also the time where we cut down on charity, generosity, and some of these things? That is, we project to be happy when we are not happy in what?
Okay.
That you give and you grumble inside there.
Giving or charity work should not be something you are forced to do. It should be something that comes out of your heart. Mm-hmm. So you shouldn't do it to please people. If you give when you're not happy, it means you just want to please some people. Mm-hmm. But if you do it because it's something you have decided to do, if you're giving out your own last meal, you'll be happy doing it. So in difficult moments, what I normally do is, on the spiritual aspect, that's the highest time when you make sacrifices.
Okay.
In difficult moments, that's when you can say, okay, I would rather take my own personal income and make sure my staff or my employee are satisfied than for me to be eating while they are hungry. In difficult moments is when you sacrifice your own personal pleasure for the people who are looking up to you. Mm-hmm. You are the employer, you are the boss. You can withstand certain challenges. But there are certain employees you have around that you know them very well, that they cannot withstand certain challenges. For example, you have an employee who is very loyal to you, but he stays around Bonaberry. He has to come to work to this place, and the company is going through some crisis. There is no money. He has to pay transport. He really wants to come, but there's no way. He cannot trek to this place. A wise employer should know that, okay, I have 5,000. I think I can look at all of it. So this guy is having more challenges. I know if he has a means, he'll be here. You give the person the transport and sacrifice. Difficult times are moments where we have to make more sacrifices. But notwithstanding, don't make a sacrifice that your emotions or your person cannot bear. You don't want to make a headway in times of challenges. That's when you make the highest sacrifices in your life, because that's when it will actually pay off.
Is it wise to increase prices when things are going rough?
Mr. Leo,
is that a wise decision?
Well, when things are going tough, now you need to understand the situation that everybody is facing. It would depend now if increasing prices, is it necessary to increase the prices? Does it mean that you had an increase in the cost of production? But if you are just increasing prices as a result because you want to cash out with your expenses, then there is something wrong. Because now, for instance, when COVID came, many persons lost their jobs, which means that the economic power also dropped. Now, if you increase the prices of your goods at that time, you will definitely just push them away. And the worst case scenario, if you have a competitor, because they will move towards them, it means that you are not sentimental. Remember, there is one thing in the psychology of selling, where people buy because of their emotions, then they justify with logic or reason. I bought this because of this. If the dress that you are wearing, you definitely have a reason, but definitely what caught you was the emotions. Your emotions towards it. Maybe you love the color, you love something about it.
Some are gifted. some are gifted, like our sister from Mafo Designs love us and she gives. So if you who is watching can also give.
I'm thinking
for yes.
I'm thinking as a businessman, price increase should only come when you know and you are convinced that you have increased your value.
Okay.
If you increase if you increase both your product, your service, or your company value, any price you put can be bought. For example, Toyota is an amazing company selling wonderful products, creating new cars every day. But you're so shocked that the price for a 2016 Toyota Highlander or 2018 Toyota Highlander is almost the same price with 2014 Mercedes. Just the same. Why? Some people have not to build value. Mercedes has built a certain value that people that drive this car, no matter the age of the car, they see themselves as people that belong to a certain class. So these guys can increase their price. Why? They have been able to build a value. So you don't increase the price of your goods or services because you think things are hard, and so you want to meet up with the economy. Don't do that. If you want to increase the prices, work on your value. Increase your value. The customer should see it, then put up the price. They will buy it. At that point, they're not buying their product; they're buying the value.
The value. Okay. You are done.
Yeah, it's okay. He just landed well.
Okay, he said what was in your mind. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Inasmuch as I do believe in the Holy Bible to achieve eternal glory, it's the same way I believe in Mr. Teke and Tex Global to achieve financial freedom. Patrick is writing from Kumba. Mr. Teke is well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Patrick. Thank you for believing in us.
Okay, but it is also because that you are delivering. Yes, if you were a charlatan, a quack, nobody will believe in you. Now, we are talking about this, another possibility. You are faced with very difficult times as a businessman. Is it also wise to ask for up payment? You ask that is people can buy in the next 6-7 months, so that it permits you to have capital to flow and stabilize the business.
Yes, Mr. Leo, that's a business strategy. That's a business strategy, and that can only occur in a situation where you have loyal clients.
Okay.
Yes, because you not go asking anybody. Clients, there's some clients that will blow the trumpet if they know that you are in difficulties.
Yes.
You know, they go around and expose it to everybody. This one is dying already, let him die. You know, and there's some people who, because of the way you have been relating with them, they will find you in that situation and they will find a way to rescue you. Just as he was talking about partners who will say, okay, you are down now. How can we do? I have this amount in my account. Let me withdraw it and come and give you so that I can keep this business going. Because I'm having the same feeling that if this thing goes down, 1,000 people are going to go hungry, 5,000 families are going to go down. That's the same with clients that are loyal, who you can go to and say, man, things have been like this and things are like this now. I'm talking to you because I know you're an inner man. You can do this, you can do that. And mind you, there are people who will do that and sustain your business. And that goes same with on the direction of your suppliers. People that you have been buying from them for a long time.
Like a supply?
Yes, you go to them and tell them that, man, I've been paying cash always, but this time around, I can't pay cash because I'm having a little thing. And they will give you in bulk. Why? Because over time you have given them a lot of revenue, and you have always been paying on time. You have been promised, maybe because of business, you promise sometimes they don't pay, but you are always there to tell them that I am not paying because things are slow. I'll pay, and you always own up to your words. When that time comes, they will help you. That's to say, everything we are discussing on this aspect is the reputation you build when things are going well. Yes.
I was talking with some people in Boya, some guys, and I told them it's difficult for young people to be rich in Cameroon because the average young Cameroonian is greedy and selfish in nature. For example, in Nigeria, you see why it looks like the Igbo tribes in Nigeria, they are rich. There's something they do. They always have fraternities, they always have clubs, groups. Those clubs are not necessarily rituals. They say nyungu. They are just people who come together and build systems among themselves and say, we are going to work towards the goods of each other. And so they start contributing money. They are not borrowing it. We say, okay, 4 of us, we are going to look for money, work hard, and contribute 10 million and give it to Mr. Leo to start up a business. Mr. Leo start up his business and grow to a certain level. We now contribute again and give it to Mr. Neba. Just like that. Before you know, all of these 4 guys are already billionaires. They start bringing people into the team. And before you know, they've grown a fraternity and give it a name. That name will sound so mysterious that even witches and wizards will be afraid to come into their midst. That's what happens. And these guys start making money gradually. Before you know, you have a set of 10, 20, 100 humans who are so rich. that you cannot penetrate into their circle and go out free. So that if you get into a trouble and your business collapse, you don't need to go and borrow money from the bank. They just say one of our brothers is down. What do? They contribute 10 million and give it to you, run your business. But the average Cameroonian does not understand that. They prefer to take the money, go and buy you drink in the bar. You drink and get drunk, and you go home and they enjoy watching you.
So he's a strong man.
This is a strong man. So they enjoy watching you broke while they move around and enjoy and then laugh at you. The average Cameroonian, we have to come back to that point of collaboration, the point of partnership, where we should believe that it takes all of us to put our hands together and grow a strong economy. We have blamed the government, we blame relatives, we blame people abroad. Those of us that are still in Cameroon, what are we supposed to do? Come together. Let's put our hands together and grow an economy.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I just want to congratulate you and your team for the great work you have been doing. Mr. Teke, keep up the great work. The sky is your stepping stone. God bless you.
Amen.
It's Ewane Thierry writing from Douala. Good evening to you, Ewane Thierry. Mr. Teke is raising a key point here, Mr. Ghana. This lack of spirit of partnership amongst Cameroonians. You hardly see young Cameroonians come together and wanting to push each other up the ladder so that we form a cream of millionaires and billionaires. Very, very difficult to find. And also, Cameroonians themselves get scared to belong to a circle of wealthy people. We are scared. We think that their money is not clean. Okay, similarly is not.
Mr. Leo.
Okay.
First of all, let us go back to the roots of the problem. You see, when Mr. Teke is talking about Nigeria, this system, we call it the mafia, has not started today. Yes, but in Cameroon particularly, the only people who are very united is Bamileke people you see with the system of Jambi today.
Mr. Ghana, Mr. Ghana, can you on your video? Your video is not on.
Yeah, it's on.
We can't see you. We get your audio and not the video. Yes, but this is something that is also lacking.
Are you okay?
I don't know. I can't see you on my screen.
Yes,
okay, yes, go on. We are good now.
Now, you see, like when you start with the system, Bamileke people have the good system that is difficult for them to go to the bank to raise money. There is a groups I know in Cameroon every year. They are raising 1 billionaire in CFA. That 10 people, everyone bring 100 million and they keep 1%. 1 billion CFA. They are in Douala. I don't know if Mr. Teke don't know them. Maybe he's new in the test, but they are. But the situation is, we, this generation, we need to demystify those clubs. We need to show our younger generation that without having a group of people, we cannot grow. This is truth. Mr. Teke is saying the truth. We need to form a system that if we want to raise a millionaire, 10 of us bring 100,000 CFA, the person is a millionaire already. But in Cameroon, we don't have this habit. You know, everything starts by habit, Mr. Leo. We have to be teach somewhere and start having the habit. Generally, when you see the majority of the younger generation of Cameroonians, they are dreaming just to become a civic servant. They want to work for the government. They don't even have idea about to become an entrepreneurs. Only when they find out that the government cannot employ people, now they start thinking about looking a job or create an enterprise. So it's very difficult. But the only way to succeed in this world now, we need to create a network. This thing they call mafia. Mafia is not a bad name. Mafia means a club of people who have a bonded spirit together. They come together to make sure that they can succeed, to make sure that they can support each other, to make sure that they can, everyone have your back. And if you need help financially, spiritually, materially, however you want, the club will be there to help you. But now we are being brainwashed in Cameroon that when you see those kind of circle who is moving, they label them because those past generation who are very poor, don't even know how to go about. They start telling you that this is the sector, or these people are doing bad things. It's not bad things, because the way to succeed, people have to come together. So we, this generation, we need to demystify first, to show that our brothers and sisters that without coming together, there is no way to succeed. And if we come together, it's easy. As Mr. Teke said, if today we want to raise a young billionaire who have 1 billion CFI in Cameroon, either we need 1,000 people who bring 1 million, or we need 500 people who bring 2 million, or we need 250 who bring 4 million, or we need 10 people who bring 100 million. It's cheap. It's very easy to be a billionaire in any part of the country, but how can we come together, Mr. Leo? This is the point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the way to go. Good evening, Mr. Liu. For a business to grow, you should treat both the employees and clients well. Treating the employees well will make them to advertise your goods with happiness. Thomas Maton in Yaoundé, yes, that's also an advantage that they become advertisers now. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Not necessary for the topic of today. I wish to ask Mr. Teke, which level of education did he attain before putting in this marvelous enterprise? Blessings to the whole panel. Derek is writing from Kumba. It's wisdom from God. He has said that you should love God. Just love God. God will give you the wisdom. Yes. Hi, Mr. Liu. I'm a member of Tex Global in Limbe. I wish to ask Mr. Teke, why is it that he doesn't want to open a branch in Limbe? We promised that if he opens, we will get many people. Ade and Derek is writing from Limbe. Can you just write to those numbers? Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Increases in price of goods and services doesn't only depend on value added. Environmental and physical factors can trigger price increase. The top function of a manager is to effectively and creatively solve problems. The maker is watching from Boya. The maker, I was at their place the other day. I did not see you. I hope I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu. This is for Justus from Bamenda. As far as business survival skills in a difficult and changing economy is concerned, despite the quality, quantity, and low price of the goods is concerned, I think what matters is the level of advertisement and promotion of that product that can pull consumers towards the consumption of that good. Okay, good evening to you, Justus, my in-law, watching from Bamenda. I greet the family, everybody in the house, your wife and the children. I'm glad to note that you are watching us this evening. But Justus is also raising a point. Many Cameroonians find themselves, business people, they find themselves in very difficult problems, and they would want to shine, they want to come out of the difficulties, but pay very little attention to advertising.
Mr. Leo, any business that doesn't advertise itself definitely will not stay long in the market. Because, mind you, if you develop a very good product and you don't have a strategy on how it's going to get to the final user, definitely nobody will know you. And if nobody know you, then you will not make money. Imagine, let me take an example. All of us use MTN or Orange. Every day, those guys send us messages. At times, they even call.
Yes.
Well, I'm not. They are type now. When you see a call coming from MTN, you are angry.
It's 787.
Yes, the guys call. They want to check on you.
Yeah, they are consumed every day, but they are advertising.
So advertisement is, in fact, that is the oldest form of marketing. If you don't advertise your goods, make sure that people see it.
The oldest, the most recent.
Yes. Now, in the age of digitalization, you realize that on Facebook, when you are going there, even Mark Zuckerberg still send ads.
Yes.
When their features are coming out, you see them. As you're going on Facebook, you start seeing a product around you. And many of us have been buying from Facebook. Many of us are buying from our WhatsApp statuses. So if you have a goal now, you are producing peanut. Amongst your 100 contacts, nobody knows there that you are producing peanuts. Definitely, it's just like the Bible says you cannot actually light a lamp and you put it
under the
lampstand. It actually needs to stand on a stand so that people can see it. So if you have a product, make sure that as many people as possible should know that you have that product. So some people have asked me, why is it that I always talk about Text Global? Now, I said that the reason why I want to talk about Text Global is because I want financial freedom to reach as many people as possible, because I understand that in a situation where I look in my contacts and people are not asking me, begging for me to move me 2K, move me 1K, at least I will be happy at that stage. So that is why at every time you will pass through my WhatsApp status, you will definitely see Text Global being displayed over and over. So I will advise any businessman, make sure that you advertise your goal. Make sure that people see you. If you are a designer, wear the best dresses. If you are a shoe maker, make sure that you display the best of your product.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Can somebody call Mr. Teke privately? Godlove is writing from Mutengene. Those numbers are there now. Just call. We will answer you. Okay. There is we should seek. Also, it is also time to seek help from unexpected quarters. We shouldn't be too proud when we are in difficulties.
They will usually say pride comes before a fall. I don't know.
So I better die than go.
You better die how? There's no dying point. You have to live. And they say a drowning man will hold the tail of a snake as far as he has to survive. Yes. When things are not going well, seek help. It must not only be financial help. It might just be an advice that you seek from somebody who is better in your domain, and the person will uplift you, and before you know it, you are going to be making millions. But if you are too proud to ask, if you are too proud to go to somebody humbly and say, please, this is what I'm going through, nobody will know that you are even going through a problem. I'll always say, if you have a breakdown on the highway and you sit in your car and you are crying, nobody will stop to push your car.
True.
No way. You have to step out and you're pushing your car, and then you seek a helping hand. That please, as you see like this, I have a breakdown. Can we at least push this car beside? Do you know somebody or a mechanic beside that can help me to make sure that this car goes well? If not, you are going to die inside that car. There's nobody who is supreme like a human being. There must be a time that you will seek help. You can have a breakdown. I have millions in your pocket. You cannot take that million. Maybe you have, let me say, you run out of fuel. You cannot take the millions and feed in the fuel tank and the car moves. No way. Maybe you need to seek a passing car to go buy fuel and come back. You understand? Maybe it's not a place where you can see public transport. What will you do? Will you sit in that car because you are so big, you have money in your pocket? You need to seek help. You need to understand that when the moment comes that you need to seek help, go seek for help. But it doesn't mean that you should seek for help from anybody. That's something too, because sometimes you go seek for help and you're shooting yourself on the leg. You go seek for help from somebody that before you leave him, he has already put on his WhatsApp status that, oh, Mr. Leo came here begging that he's not eating yesterday. And the whole community that knows that Mr. Leo is suffering from famine. You must know who you are asking from.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. God bless you and your team. The problem of our young people in Cameroon is unfaithfulness. When you employ them, they think it's where they can fill their stomach. I am Ma Bridget at Moyuka. It's true, eh? It's difficult to have a good worker. Yes. But the problem is, Mr. Teke, we are talking about when you are in difficulty, you should be able to look out for where to get money. But isn't it also difficult because we do not know how to manage? We don't have money mastery. It becomes dangerous to go and take money when you will not know how to use it effectively to raise, to generate, and pay back.
In times of difficulty, especially business difficulty, what we need first is not money. What we need first is idea, because what causes a business difficulty is not lack of money, it's lack of creative ideas. So what you should be looking at is talk out this issue with people. You have staff, like I'm preparing the training for all the general managers in Tesla, and one of the key points or the things I'm talking about is don't be too big to seek for help or to seek for advice. So when you have difficulty as a business person, don't be in a hurry to go and look for money. And that's what most Cameroonians are doing. They think that the problem they have in this life is money problem. The average Cameroonian think that is what they have, money problem. But money problem is the least problem any human can ever have on planet Earth. So what they don't know is, they don't have is creative ideas. So if you have a problem, seek for advice. I was running a business, and this is what has happened so far. I have lost all my business, my money, all my clients are out. The business is not going. What should I do? From there, you have people start talking to you. Okay, do this, do that. Before you go start looking for the money to start the business all over again, or to push your business to the level you expect it to be, you must have been able to build your mind. Look for someone who is doing the same business with you, or someone who has been in business and is doing well in their business. Go and seek help from them. Ask them for advice. If you cannot find any, go to a school. Look for any training institution. Look for any center. Go to seminars or get books. Figure out things. The world is global now. Go on your phone, browse, go on YouTube, check how to revive your business. So a lot of ideas will come up. Start reading them. From there, you go to figure someone online whom you can have as your online coach to help you revive ideas on how to grow your business. Going for money should be the last thing you should be thinking about. Go for more creative ideas. If you have the means, get a mentor, get a coach, get an advisor, get a counselor. If you have all these people around you, then you are good to start looking for money.
Okay, Mr. Ghana, is it also very, very prevalent out there where you are, that companies find themselves in difficulty and we don't know how to raise capital to restart?
Yes, it's happening all around the world, Mr. Leo, not even in Cameroon. However, it depends, as Mr. Teke was saying, if the company did not have a clear strategy and make sure that they can change the strategy how to create more value to get money than going to raise, like take a loan. You cannot take a loan when your company is not doing well, mean that have already failed.
Okay.
When the company is not doing well, mean mean that you need a new strategy to make sure you restructure the company, and after restructuring the company, you are giving more better services to get money. But when you jump to raising the money, mean that you will go back to the drawing board again. You will lose the money because you just lost money. Many companies make those mistakes. Why? Because they don't have training. Sometimes they don't have coaches. Sometimes they cannot even retrain their staff. That's why Develop Africa, we put a system that every 6 months we have to train the staff. We have to train even the CEO of the company to understand that we are in the new era, and every year there is a new challenge is going to arise in this world that you need to prepare yourself. In the case there is those kind of challenges, this is the way you want to go about it, Mr. Leo. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
I also say like this. Now, if you are running your business in good times, there are certain things you have to put in place. In case something happens, you can fall back to. So most businesses who are thriving very well, what are the assets you have in place that if something happens, you can fall back? If you're able to fix up your things very well, you should go to have land, you should have properties, that if you need to raise money, before you're starting of going to the bank, you should have things that you can actually put up for sale. Sell this, raise money, and then start your business all over again. So in good times, businesses should be able to have assets that can be sellable, that can generate income within the twinkle of an eye. That's going to help a lot to raise income in challenging times.
Okay. Mr. Buji, we should be ready to open up to new, because we're talking about people coming to assist us, but we should also think strategically to attract investors in our businesses, because it's difficult to survive without investors.
Of course.
This one-man show at times.
Yeah, and that's the problem that we have in Cameroon in particular. People want to be. I was talking to some young persons where I said our problem in Cameroon is that everybody wants to be a CEO. You want to be, I'm the organ. Even May's just the one on Facebook, the one that's you see somebody who now has an iPhone because they can now take good pictures, maybe with some borrowed dresses. They are CEOs. They tend to approach some young persons. You see them CEO of this on social media, You actually see the way they are looking. They look very attractive. When you chat them up, and now you see you are embarrassed by what you hear. They cannot tell you. They cannot even pitch their business for 1 minute what they are offering. So we need to understand that for an idea to grow and become so powerful, everybody, if you see an idea that is good and you know that you can contribute for the success of that idea, to the success of that vision, it's time that we need to allow our greediness, our selfishness, and support our own ideas that are coming from us. Because you look around us, you realize that we have a lot of, we send our energy too much. We diversify our energy in many areas. And Mr. Teke said something that touched me so much when he said, you have businesses, for instance, transport agencies, that come up and they make just 6 months, they had good bosses, they had everything that is nice, and they disappeared. Why? Because the people wanted to do it on their own. They did not want to seek the advice of experts. Tesla has been giving advice for free. But somebody will still want to get into agriculture. They would just sit and decide, no, I want to also do it. Maybe you have studied this in school. Maybe you have studied this in school, and then you want to just practice it. You don't want to seek advice from those who already know. A mentor will take you years ahead of time, because the mentor must have studied history and projected the future as well. Which means, if I want to come to my Media Prime for my first time, and you are here, and I want to come on my own, I'm around, and maybe I find myself going towards Yaoundé. But if I have to get to Mr. Leo, it will be easier for me to locate this directly. You talk to the bike man, the bike man will take me here in no time. As well as if you have an idea, get to people, open up to the public. And this comes where you also have, that's why us as a company at Tex Global, we opened up to the public, so that people can also come and join this vision. They also feel like belonging. This is what belongs to us. And then they go ahead. If you look at the interest that we give, we say we can definitely go to a bank, and then we get this money. We can get a $1 billion francs CFA from the bank, and we'll pay them less interest than what we pay to our investors. This is in order that, since this is a community project, let us take along everybody. Since we're talking about financial freedom, if only Mr. Teke is the richest man in Buya, then he has failed. And that's why you have things like TextBreed came up, which he promised creating the next generation, the next breed of billionaires. He wants to create more Tekes. He has to have more people in that line. And that's what we have to do as a people. We need to start empowering our own ideas. If a foreign business comes to this country, all of us, many Cameroonians, would gather resources and support that idea. And at the end of the day, the money that we generate here is shipped back to the countries of origin, and we are left with nothing. But look at it. If we pay, if as a company, if we have investors that come in and we share back 500 million to our investors at every month end, this money will be circulating amongst us. You can now get to wear the Mafo design of your choice. You will look for a shoe maker around who is a Cameroonian and support, and this money circulates amongst us, and that is the way we can move on and we can be able to fight against these changes. Because if somebody is producing something, if we will go to an extent that we are going to buy Cameroon, we are going to consume Cameroon, we are going to consume Africa, and that's the way we are going to move ahead. We talked last week, Mr. Paul says, if he sees you eating rice that Gary that is packaged in China, then you will have a personal problem with you. It means that there is a problem, because we don't want to. The summary of this is, we must learn how to genuinely support an idea that will empower us as a community. Okay.
Good evening, big brother. I am Ewane's close Eduben in Yaoundé one. Have been with Wozo for some time, but now I don't know how the business is now. I don't know what Wozo is. Can you clarify me on the type of business you're talking about? Maybe it's a new online business. Good evening, Mr. Liu and everyone in the studio. I am thanking God for bringing Mr. Teke in this our generation. Disonga Gilbert Bake, writing from Kumba. Mr. Teke, are you sure you will not do politics one day? Good evening, Mr. Liu. Business survival depends on whether it was created to satisfy needs of the masses or to enrich the entrepreneur. The aim behind the establishment of a business determines the form of feasibility studies that determines equally the survival of the business. Most businesses collapse because their feasibility studies were not aimed at satisfying the masses, but aimed at enriching the entrepreneurs. Okay, this is Professor Tita writing from Yaoundé. How do we get stable businesses? Because a business that is not stable is that which will easily collapse now. If you have handles, I'm talking about networking and then creating partnerships. How do we get that, especially for the young generation? Because he said almost everybody is a CEO.
Let me add something to what he said first before I answer what you said. Even as Mr. Teke has opened up TextBreed, there are people who are still watching us now on a daily basis, and they will still say, "I know we'll go my idea go tiva," which is that's the highest level of ignorance that we are exercising as black people, as Cameroonians. You go tiva my idea, an idea that you have in your head that has not been materialized is nothing. It has no value unless it is materialized. Value is created around it and people are actually consuming it. Unless that is no idea. And keep that I don't know, that sickness in your mind that you say that somebody is going to steal your idea. Nobody steals nobody's idea. If you can't open up, check the big companies around the world and you see the person who is really making big on top as a one-man soldier, and then you come back to me and I'll advise you to stay alone on your own leg. There's none. Check all of them. They have partners, they have shareholders. Some of them, they own those top people who are the CEOs or those who are the flag bearers, the Mark Zuckerbergs and the rest. They have less than 20% of shares of those companies. Here you have somebody with an idea that cannot be up to a million francs, telling you that, oh, I will not share my idea with you because you're going to steal my idea. That's a real big way of thinking. That's a limitation that I find was to address it and I can't find. So partnerships, leveraging, networking is a new normal. That's why you see these top companies in the world today who have no products can sell and make money. Look out for the Alibabas.
Amazon.
Look out for the Amazons. How much do they have? How much products do they have? Nothing. They're just leveraging on the products of others. What did they do? They created a platform and they'll say, okay, I am here, I have a lot of people who are watching on me, I am very visible. If you bring your products to me, I will sell it for you, and then you make a small portion and I'll make a small portion. What happens at the end of the day? They make a lot of money. So if you must make it in this generation where internet has dominated, where information circulates easy, it is very, very important that you network, that you get people in different sectors and you work with. Don't be in the agricultural department and you are ignoring the transporter. There's no way. You have to collaborate, so much so that when survival comes, the transporter can still carry your goods from the farm and take them to the market, and then you sell before you pay them back. But mind you, in the quarters where we're staying, there are people who, if they call just an Okada man to come and carry them, they will say no, pay first, because they know that you are not, you usually you go and you don't pay, and you promise to pay and you never pay. This is a generation, as Mr. Ghana rightly said, this is a generation where we have easy access to growing businesses, and the most easiest way to do this thing is by building networks. Look at this guy who has been training from Nigeria. Is it Obi Kobana? I mean, I'm urging Cameroonians to go watch his videos, his interviews. What did he do? He just networked with people, and today they are seeing him like a super rich man. What did he do? He empowered all others, and then they leverage on each other. So much so that, okay, when you're going there, this is what you're going to do. Just mere information that he shared with people. Like I go somewhere now, call Mr. Teke's name, and doors open for me. Tomorrow, Mr. Teke will be very big, and people will like, how did this guy grow big? Why? Because he empowered people. He invested in people through tax breed. Now, these people have been very powerful. You cannot be empowering people and they're becoming billionaires and you're a millionaire. It is not possible. So if you are thinking like a millionaire, start thinking how you can network with other millionaires, and then you grow together and become millionaires. That's a top secret.
Good thanks to you, Mr. Liu from Mr. Tamnjong. In Boya, in a difficult and changing economy, businesses should opt for a push marketing strategy, increase value through innovation with cost-effective technologies, and bring your employees and partners on board to get their opinions on how to bounce back. Mr. Ghana, I want us to end by telling us how young people can succeed in businesses, because many persons are wanting to engage in business ventures today, but are also scared by the ongoing crisis in the northwest and southwest regions and the gory effects of the of COVID-19.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. First of all, the younger generation need to get a proper training how to be an entrepreneur first. You need to make sure that you contact those farm or cabinet who do the training. We can help you how to set up a business. We need to follow you and to show you how to do a marketing, how to do a sale, and how to grow your business, how to get investors to come and invest in your business. But let me assure you, where there is a problem, there is opportunity. Now in northwest and southwest of Cameroon, if you can identify the problem that you can bring a solution, Mr. Leo, you will be the next Amadou Babadam Pullo. But now you have to go into business to identify which problem do you want to solve and how big is the problem. We have a problem all around the world. In northern Cameroon, in my side, we have Boko Haram issue. Which solution do you want to bring in this problem to make sure that you can generate money? But now the younger generation want to copy and paste. Copy and paste, you cannot make money. You need to come out with a solution that there is a problem and how can you bring a solution, and this solution can be helpful to the population in order for you to make money.
What's the problem?
Being scared to start a business is not going to help you, because the only guarantee we have in this world, Mr. Leo, is only we know that we are going to die. But nothing is guaranteed. Investment, banks, money, everything, there is no guarantee. But at the end of the day, we need to do something to make sure we survive, Mr. Leo. That's why Develop Africa, we have a system that we take someone from zero to make him somebody. We take a company from zero to make a company grow. We take some dead companies to restructure them and to make sure that they grow in Africa. Because the majority of the successful companies now in Africa, if you count it, you see that they are Western companies. So we need to make sure now we take over, Mr. Leo. Thank you so much.
Okay, is that what Text Global is doing? Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to your invitees. Administrative bottlenecks is a major drawback. Young people need a level ground, and every other thing will fall in place. Chaku is writing from Soa in Yaoundé. Is this not what has left many persons poor in Cameroon?
Why is Dangote not complaining about administrative bottlenecks? Why is Baba Danfolio not complaining about administrative bottlenecks? So the problem is that these people that complain about administrative bottlenecks have not been able to do the right things. There's no way you do the right thing and then you pay your right taxes, then the government want to clamp on you. What I keep saying is this: let us do what we have to do, and then watch how someone wants to destroy you. The excuse of administrative bottlenecks, taxation, and all of that is just an excuse. I wrote on my status, is it yesterday? I said you should never have a physical excuse for your spiritual challenge. You should never. That thing is just an excuse. Dangote is making a lot of money. Danfodio is making there are a lot of billionaires in Cameroon doing business that are making a lot of money. What happened to them? They started before us, or they started before some of these people that are complaining. Doesn't mean the administration have not seen them. Every government wants to promote and support successful business people because they get their taxes from there. If they destroy them or they bring them down, who pays the tax to the government? So all we have to do is you first of all figure out the right things to do. It's either you have gone into the wrong hands or you have not done the right things. But if you go through the right hands and do the right things, you will not have all these issues of administrative bottlenecks. You won't have it. Just go through that. Most of us want to get into either we want to go through walk more than our shadows, or we want to pass through the back doors. And if you pass through the back doors, definitely if they catch you, you are gone for it. If you want to walk more than your shadows, you have to suffer for it. Let us just learn to do the right things. Taxation policies in Cameroon, taxation system have policies. There are ways they run. Everything is clear and is stated. Just do the right things. Go to the right places, meet the right people, and you have your issues done. For example, today I was driving down to Douala, and I had like 3 persons telling me that with this new system of customs now, there are some guys that stand on the road. If you're passing with your car, especially when the car is new, they'll look at it, and they've told me, see, these guys can look and just tell you there's one document that is not complete, so you can give them money. So today we're coming, and this car I was driving is actually very new. They stopped us, and while they're going to do the document, took the documents to transport, the custom duty to transport office. I told the driver, I said, make sure you photocopy the custom duty. So he went, had the photocopy. We kept it in the car. So when they stopped us, he gave them the car document from the transport office. And these guys looked at it and they said, do you have photocopy of your custom papers? And then he removed it and showed them. This is what the lady said. He said, you are one among the thousands who will have time to photocopy their custom papers. And that's how they do not even check the custom papers. Why? Because they believe that if you have a photocopy of your custom papers, it means every document is complete. And that's how we left. We came right up to somewhere around after the toll gate, this Douala area. This same guy stopped us, and then they checked the whole document. They asked for a photocopy of that document again. They checked. Then they used their phone, looked at everything. And the guy said, as soon as we were done with everything, I said, for the first time, a custom guy checked, used the star, and did not say one document is missing. So imagine I had followed the 3 persons who told me that they were stopped, and there's always something the custom will bring up that you don't have. But I saw a custom that checked everything and did not find any fault in the papers. It means some people actually going there doing the wrong thing. And if they are nailed for it, they feel like the administration is terrible. I am not giving 100% assurance that the administration is okay. But then, if we do the right things, we will not have this complaint coming up every time about the administration.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Liu. I'm Yangsi Patrick from Yaoundé. In case of business difficulties, I advise that you check your team. Sometimes you have a team with perfect skills in production but lack corporate skills. Also check if the individuals in the team are working towards the vision of the enterprise or not. You may also need to see whether the business is really in line with the needs of the people. Because if you create a very good business in the wrong environment, the wrong people, then you will fail. Okay, we have to end at this juncture of the program. I want to say thank you, Mr. Buji, for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Liu. And as it's always a tradition,
you have an announcement.
I always give invitations. Yeah. Obviously, we have the biggest conference that is coming up on the 7th of August here in Douala at Hotel Prince de Gaulle. That's on the 7th of August. It will be a Saturday. So many people have been asking, how do I see Mr. Teke? How do I talk to Mr. Teke? Mr. Teke, at least we have held Mr. Teke this time that he's going to be available so that you can come and talk to him. He's going to talk to you. He's going to share with you the secrets that has made him the successful man that he is today. So it's an opportunity for everybody. It's only going to cost you 10,000 francs to attend this conference. And Mr. Teke promised to give everybody that attends that conference a free copy of the Billionaire Mindset, because he believes that that is what is going to take you along when things are really difficult for you. Your billionaire mindset is going to make you to survive. So if you want to be part of it, you can just contact any of the numbers that you saw on the screen earlier and then register.
Okay, greetings, Mr. Liu. Greetings, Text. Global business survival depends on what the mind sees and the hands do. We talk more about millions without talking on the courses, but put in place to realize these millions. There are so many great business ideas in people's minds without any action off on board. A handful of us can no longer write with our hands. We write only with our minds. It's true. We should put into action what we have in our mind. Mr. Ghana, thank you for taking part in today's edition of the program. Okay. And also to you, Mr. Neba, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leo. Thank you to Test Global for the education they are giving to our people. We should stop complaining. We have complained for so long and nothing has changed. Let's start acting. And a little contribution from me, from you, is going to change this country, is going to change this nation. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hello, Leo. The greatest challenge we are facing in this country now is most young people are not ready to work. Some go around looking for work. Once you employ, the next day, they go around criticizing how you are so stingy. Some even try many skills of stealing rather than working. Collins is writing from Douala. Thank you for coming, Mr. Teke.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leo, and my media team. You guys are doing an amazing job. Thank you so much, Tex Global, Tex Group of companies. Amazing things you're doing. Are great investors. Thank you very much. And I want to add to Mr. Buji, Billionaire Mindset Conference 2 is going to be awesome and wonderful. 7th of August. I have to postpone all of my journey, my traveling, to be in that meeting. So I'm expecting you at Prince Edgar. Thank you so much. See you then.
Thank you all who took time off to watch the program, especially those of you who sent text messages, and to the production team, Eli, Nolinga, and Ewane, and to you, Desmond, and to Noel and Bertrand, not forgetting you, Tabi Tembe Bryant, who is supervising the work we do all day. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.